Hi everyone, and welcome to Monday Night Stamping. I am so thrilled to be back creating with you live. It seems like it's been forever, and I have a really, I really like what I'm making with you tonight, so I hope you enjoy it too. So for those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Lillian. I am with Stampers Niche, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Alberta, Canada. And I am somebody who actually fell in love with stamping, and now I also love not only stamping but sharing what I stamp with you. So thank you so much for all your positive encouragement and your shares and your comments and all those kinds of things. So thank you, and keep up that great work, because it means a lot to me and really helps me. So whether you're watching later on the replay or watching live or watching YouTube, the more you subscribe, share, comment, all those things, that really encourages me, and I really appreciate it. So thank you for that. And I was going to ask about your Canada Day on Saturday, and congratulate and wish all the American watchers happy July 4th. But we had some big news happen in our family today, so I'm going to switch a little bit. We have had a new addition to our grandchildren level of the family, and it's not a human one. Our daughter and family received a new puppy today, and we went with them to pick it up. So it was lots of fun. It's the puppy is a Schnauzer and Poodle cross, so it's small, cute, cuddly, and actually a really big hit. Our daughter keeps sending us pictures, so I've made sure to mute my phone tonight and hope that we don't get any interruptions. So while I'm going down to my desk, I always ask a question of you. And tonight I'm going to give you a choice. You can either share something that you did on Canada Day or plan to do tomorrow for American July 4th, or if you're in another country, I know some of you watch from around the world, what you did in the last couple of days, or what you do for the special day in your country. Or do you have a pet, or did you have a pet growing up, and what was it? Was it a dog, a cat, a lizard, or what was it? So just share one of those things. And if you don't want to share any of those things, just say hi and let us know you're here, because that is something that we all love to know, is that you're here and that you're part of this great community, because that's one of the things stamping has done, has created a great community here together. So let me just make sure my computer's working as you're sharing. I see people saying hello and other people. I'm just waiting to see if I catch anybody sharing the answers to any of those questions. So I think Bonnie did. Yep, excellent. You know what? We stayed home and relaxed largely too. Went for some walks. The weather wasn't great, but we have been away so much lately that we just thoroughly enjoyed being at home and relaxing. And I even had a bit of time to create and to get in my stamping room, and I haven't had that for quite a while, so I was thankful for that. So that was it. I see people that are joining us from all sorts of places and taking grandkids swimming and all kinds of fun things. Gotta enjoy those grandkids times, right, Linda? Excellent. Okay, now I am going to make maybe a startling statement to you. If you have a wish list and you're wanting to go shopping, stop. Don't do your Stampin' Up! Shopping until July 6th. If you can hang on that long, that is Thursday. And there's a special reason why I would say such an outrageous thing. And that is because Stampin' Up! Has something called bonus days coming July 6th, and for every $60 you spend here in Canada, in other parts of the world, it's a different amount depending on the currency and the equivalent of this. But for every $60 you spend between July 6th and 31st, you earn a $6 coupon to use in August. So it's sort of like getting $66 worth of stuff for 60. And yes, you can have multiples. You can earn as many as you want. So if you have a long wish list, I would suggest this might be something you want to check out. So that's the first step. The second step, you each time you place that order for every 60 or multiple of 60, you will receive those coupons, and you need to save them. They will be emailed to you, so you can either save the email in some way that you can find it readily, or you can print it or whatever, but take a picture. But you need to keep those codes, because once August hits, you can enter those codes and save the money. So I hope that makes sense to you. You'll be hearing lots more about it, but just maybe hold off if you can till July 6th, and then you'll earn those coupons. And there's another reason for holding off until July 6th. On July 6th, there are going to be some additions to the online exclusives, and they are some pretty special ones. I don't have them all here. In fact, we could only pre-order a few. That's one of the perks of being a demonstrator. And I only ordered a couple because I knew I wasn't going to have time to play with it earlier, but they're on my list so that when I order, I can earn some coupons too, the $6 coupons. So I'm waiting till July 6th. One of the things that is going to be on the online exclusive, and did you notice there are no names on the packaging here anymore? They're on the back because we're in so many different countries. These are called adhesive backed snowflake assortment, and they come in copper, gold, and white. And you can see I used a couple there. And they are in 3 sizes. So there's this bigger size here. So let me see, what have I got handy that you can see in comparison? Here is my bone folder. So they're a pretty decent size. And then there's this size here, and then this smaller size here. So they are really neat, and because they're adhesive back, oops, sorry for the glare there. They will be really easy to pop onto any project that you're doing, and especially the white. You could color those with your blends, and they would be really fun to change to any color. So let's just bring in a blends here, so you can see that you could color these. And that's the size. I should have had something dark here to put it on. So I have one other thing from the pre-order. I'm going to order the rest on Thursday, like I was saying, or shortly thereafter, so that I can earn my coupons. But one that you likely have been seeing shared a lot. It's a 6x6 package of designer paper. It is called One Horse Open Sleigh. So there is a coordinating stamp set and die, but this paper is, to me, it's a star all on its own. It can stand alone. Although it looks wintry, you'll see when I show you the backs, it can be used for any season, not just Christmas. And so I'm just going to show you a quick look. So there's the scenery on this side, which is so much fun to play with. I think I'm going to have to make a class out of this. Then there's the generic on this side, generic scenery. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that fox there. Then we've got the wood grain, again some generic, and then this wonderful winter scene here. I know we don't really like to think about winter when it's summer, but some of you are starting your Christmas cards or winter related cards, and these will be great. If not, this side is always perfect too. So gorgeous, ooh, look at that. Makes you just want to walk right into that scene. And here's another one like that. This is, I see hearts flying across the screen. Yes, look at that. It's like looking down from above, just like that. And the birch trees. And then there's this one here and that. So year-round paper, but just the way they catch the light and the snow and the trees, just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So if I get time, I am going to do a class for this, but I know that you will have been seeing lots with this paper. And again, it's going to be available July 6th. So it's just one of the many things. And some of you have been seeing a punch about a little red truck and stuff. July 6th. Check the online exclusives. I will be reminding you and sharing how to find the online exclusives on my Facebook page, in my newsletter, that kind of thing. Okay, just before we start tonight's project, I had posted for Canada Day weekend, up till 5 o'clock tonight, that if you posted a red and white project, I'd put your name in for a draw and I'd send you a little something in the mail. So let's pull out and let's see whose name we have got. Bonnie R. So Bonnie, I will be popping something into the mail to you. So congratulations to you. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever, in looking through the catalog, found something that you just said, that's not for me, I don't need that, and then had to change your mind? That's what happened to me with this suite here. So this is on page 94 and 95 of the catalog. It's called Inked Botanicals. Now, I really did like the paper and the ribbon, and I liked the stamp set. I thought that was really pretty, but the punches, I thought, what would I ever do with those? I definitely don't need them, and I have lots of other things, so I really don't need any of this stuff. Well, I've had to eat my words, and guess what? I have bought the whole suite of products. So that the suite is shown here in the price, and it is everything on this page. So it's the designer paper, the ribbon, the stamp set, and the punches. And just a little aside, the suite is $110.75 in Canada. That would earn you almost 2 bonus coupons, just saying. So I wanted to share with you a little bit as to how I changed my mind. Number one is that I saw some other demonstrators using the punch, and I thought that was pretty neat. Then because I was away visiting my mom and doing different things like that, I didn't have my supplies with me, but I had my catalog, and I started to look more closely at the samples in the catalog. And I know that I always say to do that, but sometimes I just really don't catch the small details. So the punches, let me just share them with you briefly. Now this is, again, I'm going to watch for the reflection. So there is a punch bundle. So it's 2 punches. There's this one here that's sort of a, I don't know, star shape, and this one that's sort of an X. So those are the shapes we're going to look at. We're going to concentrate on those punches because that's what I really didn't care for when I first went through the catalog. But you'll notice here that they've stamped on the designer paper, which is neat. Then they've punched a hole and done the stamping on the layer underneath, like that. Then they've done these shapes and just scattered the shapes around. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. And I'm going to come back to this one in a minute. And, well, maybe do you know what? Why don't I just show you? So take a good look at that page. We're going to look at the different things here because what I'm showing you tonight was inspired by those. So let's move that to the side. So one of the first things I did was I took my punches, pardon me, and I punched a whole bunch of them. I just went, okay, like that and punched several of that shape, and I punched it in 2 colors so that if I wanted to play with them, I would be able to see the difference. And then I punched several of these in 2 colors. Now let me just grab some black paper. And let's just play around with these shapes for a minute. So if I bring in, say, this and this, I can offset them and I can get that kind of a look. And I could keep building on that. I could bring in these 2, and again, I could offset them and get the 2-tone look. So that's one thing that you can do with it. This right here, you will notice that that's exactly what they did in this sample right there. And I will just show you. When I was playing around, whoops, grabbed more than I thought. That's what I did here. I punched this out, stamped and punched, and that happy birthday is from that stamp set. And then I did the next layer out of designer paper, and then you see the ribbon and you see the stamps and you see some more designer paper here. This was totally inspired by the catalog. They did it in very vanilla. I chose to do it in basic white. So that's that, and that, you know, just play around with the shapes a little bit. So you can also bring in this. What happens if you layer this onto here? Look at that. It matches right up. So, or you can go this way like that. So that's something else. That's another look you can get. But what about, let's take a look. How did they get, how come they showed these? Well, guess what? If you take this, and if you stamp, actually, I think I'm going to take a different color so it shows up. If you stamp on it with Versamark, now I had my Versamark out and ready. Now I can't see it. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is, right here. Trying to be too organized. If I stamp on it with Versamark, that wasn't the stamp I was planning to get, but it will be just fine. And if I meant to use blue on it after all of that. Tell you what, I'm going to put that to the side because I don't really feel like heating that up right now. I'm going to bring in another one, and I'm going to bring in the same stamp, and I'm going to use black so that you can see it. There we go. We've stamped that. Put the lid on it. And then if you bring in your snips and you just snip off this piece, and if you just snip off this piece like that, now you have the shape that they're showing you in the catalog. So you can see that I did that with that and with that. So I have that's another shape you can get from these dies. Now, the one that had me, well, yeah, I'll go this route first. So this one here, I had to really study this one because I could recognize that this sort of matched this, but how did they do it? So let me share how I figured they did it anyway. So I have punched out, where is it at here? I have punched out one that I can do my words on like that. Now, when I bring in this, I can punch out the contrast, and just cut down the middle. Well, no, I'm going to cut the 2 points off. I played with this a day ago. My memory is already failing me. And I could tuck them underneath and create a layer like that. So let me just move that up a smidge. So just tuck it under like that. But in the picture, it looked like it was longer. So how could you do that? So what I did is I thought, okay, what I really want, no, it's too much reflection. What I really want is I don't need these 2 points. I need this right here. So the distance right there is about 1 1/8. So I cut a piece of cardstock, 1 1/8. Now I'm going to take my punch and try not to drop it. And I'm going to take my cardstock, and instead of sliding it in like this, I'm going to sort of dive in through the hole here so I can just catch one edge. Going to make sure the lines of the paper line up with the lines of the punch so it's pretty straight. And I'm going to go like that. So now I have that look. I can use it as is, or I can turn it around and make that whole little banner and make sure I'm coming from the top. Tuck it in because I'm on camera, of course. There we go. I think we're getting it. Making sure it's straight. And just, whoops, I should have put it a little bit farther. But just like that, I now have, I could make it as long as I wanted, but I can now just slide this up, make that banner a little longer, which is exactly what they did in this picture. So I thought, okay, I am going to try making that. I altered it a little bit because I wanted to conserve my designer paper, but I just was inspired totally by the catalog, but I figured out how to do this here. So that's how that worked. And now, let me just see here. There's one more thing that's really, really, really neat. So let me bring in this shape here and this shape here, and look what happens. They actually fit together, just like that. And you can keep building it. Just move this up. So are you seeing all kinds of potential now for these punches? Have you got quilters in your life? Can you imagine sharing a card like this that looks like a quilt? And I have to admit, this is a bit addictive, just starting to put all the pieces together like that. But isn't that neat? And that, of course, is what they did in this card right here. So we're going to make a version of that card tonight. So maybe that's got you hooked a little bit as to what all those punches can do. And I'm sure there's even more. That's just getting your appetite, just getting your, pardon me, your imagination going. And do that when you're with your punches. Punch a few out, start to play with layering and all of that, and you will find it maybe a few more uses for it. So tonight, we're going to use some of the designer paper. So I haven't shown you the designer paper yet. So let me just stop and show that to you. So the designer paper in this is gorgeous. And if you look at it, and as I'm going through, notice that it looks like, I've got everything going a little haywire here. That's because I hit my camera, didn't I? Many of these papers, they actually took flowers and leaves and put them in ink and then put them on the paper. So they used actual flowers and leaves as stamps for some of these, and you can see how that works. So here we go again. You can see there exactly. This one particularly, I saw a video of them making this paper, and then they take pictures of it, of course. And it was just pretty amazing. So you've got some wonderful, wonderful colors here. I'm going to bring those in a minute just to show you. Look at that. Those of you would, oh, tic-tac-toe board. Oh, Bonnie, you're brilliant. She's back on the punches with the tic-tac. Oh, I'm going to have to try that. Yeah. Here we go. There. Like that. Sharon, you're hooked now already? Yeah, you know what? That's what happened to me. I didn't need it, didn't want it, didn't like it, and here I am. It's now my favorite. So remember, they always show all the colors on the back. I write it bigger so that my eyes can read it more quickly. But there it is. So let me just fan it out a bit. I'm not going to be too fussy. And these are the coordinating colors. So you can just see how don't they look fabulous together? They just look springy or just great for anything. And when I looked at this, I thought, okay, it's all very vanilla. But you'll notice that I've been using a lot of basic white with it too. And this day and age, we can mix that cream color and white too. But they work both with very vanilla and basic white. So let's move this out of the way. And I'm going to bring in the two papers that I want to use tonight, these two. And, oh, somebody's got the order coming in tomorrow. Now, I would like to know which of these should we use? Should we use basic white or very vanilla? So you tell me as I clean away a little bit of this mess because it's bugging me. Basic vanilla. And you love that the paper, I know my very vanilla's been a little neglected, so I am really happy about that too, Mark. What should we use tonight? Very vanilla or basic white? I see white. Okay, we will go with white. But really, you could use either. And I think with these particular papers here, the white might be the better choice. But I think you could go with either. This is softer. Maybe if I was making a sympathy card, I might go with the very vanilla. Somehow that seems to fit. So we're going to use the basic card base that we often use, half a sheet of cardstock. So 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We've got that. Let's just fold it right now while we've got it in our hands and go this way. And this is Lost Lagoon. It's one of the colors here. So I decided that Lost Lagoon would be a good choice to have. And so we're going to use 3 1/4 by 4.5 of Lost Lagoon, like that. And then we're going to do most of our work on this piece, 3 by 4 1/4. And we're going to bring that in, and we're going to do our punches from here. So I would like, what did I do with my card here? I would like 3 of each. So I'm going to do 3. Oh, I don't know which one to do which of. I'm just going to go for it. 1, 2, 3. And I know that some of you on here are scrapbookers. I think these shapes would work great for scrapbooking pages too, because you could do so much with them. Whoops, I don't want to use that one. I want to switch out my punches now and do 3 of this one. 1, 2, 3, just like that. And let's see if I've lost any. There, we got 3, and we've got 3. Perfect. So if I look at this card, oh, I went and took my marker out. That wasn't very smart. If I look at this card on page 94, they stamped a background, they did the shapes, and they elevated some of the shapes. And then they did this. So let's be inspired by this. Now, that was a horizontal, a landscape card. I decided that I would like to do a vertical one. a portrait one. I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because I know that I'm going to go off. Put this on here, and I'm going to bring in the stamp set, inked and tiled. I just absolutely love how these stamp. They are gorgeous, and the words are perfect for all the different things that we often have occasion to send cards for. So let's see. Let's look in my little bin here. We're going to start with this little background stamp, and we're going to take Lost Lagoon and bring it in here, ink it up, and I want it just to be faint in the background. So I'm going to stamp it off twice. So the third time, see how light it is? I like that. Let's see, what's the fourth one? Ooh, I like 3 and 4. So 1, 2, now I've got it nice and light, and I'm just going to bring it in a bit like this. And, oh, maybe I'll do one there. Should have likely done it slightly different, but it's not going to matter. It's just adding some background interest like that. Now on my card front, I want to bring in this little shape here, the stamp, and this, you'll find this in the designer paper as well. And I just want to add a little interest to the background, but very little. So I'm going to again stamp it off a couple of times. Now, do you see how the punch went off the edge? Or the stamp went off the edge? That will put an edge on my stamp. So even though it's got enough ink on it, I'm still going to ink it up again. And now I'll go there. Now I can use it again, but now I've gone off the edge. So I'm going to stop. Like that, and this paper's going here, and I think that adds, oh, I need a little bit more. The paper's covering this one, and we'll just put a bit there. Let's see. Yep, that looks good. Why don't I do the inside while I'm at it too? There. And I could do the envelope. I could just keep going. It's rather fun to do. So we've got those two done. We've got this done. That's all we need the Lost Lagoon for. And now we're going to bring in our shapes that we punched. And I think, I love to use my grid paper to help me line things up. I'm just going to place them down at first, just to get my placement. Like this. Now the decision is, do we keep them flat like I'm doing right here, or do we pop up the star-shaped one? So pop up or flat. Those are the words I'm going to be looking for. Pop up or flat. What do you think? Pop up. Okay, we are going to pop up the stars. So now I've worked out my placement. Now you'll notice that this is kind of a little closer. So I'm going to just shift it over a smidge. Just once you get a couple down, you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to be popping these up. So I'm going to glue this one down to get my placement off the bat. And I know some of you who are watching are avid quilters, beautiful quilters. So I am really curious to see what you're going to do with this. So now I'm using my grid line just to kind of eyeball and make sure that that's straight across there. And I'm going to bring in some dimensionals, brand new sheet, woo! And we will put couple of dimensionals on here. I like to use 2 so they don't twist and turn. And see, now I've got 1 in. I don't worry about these so much. So there, I'm just resting that there. I got it. There we go. It's elevated, and now I can just keep going. So it comes together really quickly, and again, totally inspired by the catalog. And I just absolutely love how they fit together. Can you see this in a black and white? Say the back of the Zany Zoo paper is all black and white. And we have some other black and white paper. The name escapes me right now. It's part of a big bundle of paper. I can see where it is in the catalog, can't remember the name. It has all different kinds of designs, but there's some sheets of black and white in that. Or you likely have some sheets of black and white in your stash. I think it would be striking. Whoops, I wasn't supposed to put glue on that one. I can hear some of you going, stop, stop, stop. There we go. We'll take that off. We'll put the glue on this one. So that's what I get for talking as I'm doing stuff. Always a dangerous, dangerous thing to do. There we go. Believe it or not, I've actually made a few of these already. There we, whoops, just give that a bit of a nudge. So now we've got it like that. And what we're going to do is fasten it together, and then we will do the words and things. So we're going to add some adhesive here. Adhesive's just about empty, but you know, I like to get it right down to the end. Someone told me if you undo this side, it helps it to go. I don't know. Did you all know that there's another end to your multi-purpose liquid glue? This is like, it spreads it really nicely, and you can get the glue out that end as well. So we'll see if that helps. Take the lid off both. We'll bring this in, take that off, and just this card is actually very simple once you figure out how it's done. And then to add a little more interest, I'm going to put it on dimensionals. You certainly don't have to. And we'll put one in the middle so it doesn't sag. Never want saggy cards, right? And again, I love to use my grid paper to help me line things up. Now we can make it straight, or we can put it at an angle. Now there's a question, straight or at an angle? And while you're telling me that, I am going to put the lid on my glue. And we're going to work on the words. Straight or an angle? Angle. I see angle. Okay, let's go with that. And there we go. I have another sample that I've done that's straight, so you'll be able to compare then. Now for the words, I want to use white embossing powder here. So I am using my embossing buddy that comes in the embossing pack. And I'm going to use just a note with Versamark ink. So those of you who are new to stamping, Versamark ink it leaves like a watermark, but it also stays sticky. And so now it's going to, this powder that we're putting on, called embossing powder, is going to stick to where the Versamark was, and we're going to just make sure that we don't have any speckles anywhere else. Now that powder is grainy and it won't stay there unless we do something called heating it. So I'm bringing in my heat tool. It's a little noisy, but it won't take long. And we'll heat this up and see if you can predict what I'm going to do with this. Think back to some of the things I showed you to do with the punches, and I think you might be able to make a prediction. There we go. Now I am going to bring in this punch, and I am going to just make sure that that's cool enough. I'm going to put it in there. Now I just need to give it a little snipperoo so that it fits. And now I am lining it up, so you can see that I'm lining it up so that it's lined it up with there. This I'm going to cut off, so I'm not worried about it. I just want to concentrate on this area here. So it's a great way to use your scraps with these punches. So now I've got this wonky looking shape, so we'll just de-wonk it. That's a Lillian term for you. And we're going to be putting that on here like that. But oh, let's bring in some of that ribbon. So the ribbon is gorgeous. It's called Lost Lagoon. Let me find the English, bordered ribbon. And it looks like it's thick and coarse, but it isn't. It is soft. It is easy to use, easy to tie bows with. I don't need a bow, but I'll just show you. It's just a great ribbon, and it really works beautifully with this set. So see, there's a bow right there like that. It's so simple and easy. But what we're going to do is we're just going to eliminate the bow altogether, and we're going to just angle it across and then put this over top, sort of like that. So I leave it on the roll till I figure out what I'm doing and how much I need. That way I don't waste any. There we go. And so we want it like that. I think I want it to spread out a little bit. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put a bit of seal on here so that I can hold my ribbon in place. I can always cut it afterwards, but because I'm putting seal there, then it's easy for me to figure out the placement of my ribbon, and I can rearrange things to my heart's content. There, now if I put it like that, do you know what? I want these to be a little longer and that to be a little shorter. I'm just going to slide it down a smidgeroo, because remember, it can go off the edge of this. We've still got our white here. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to add some dimensionals, and I think I'll bring in my minis, or you can cut, whoops, that's not my minis, or you can cut your bigger ones down, but I want them to fit right where the ribbon is not. Now if that I think will stay in place, but if not, I could slide a glue dot in there. Well, why don't I do that? Here's my glue dots. Then you can see what I do sometimes. You just do a little fix-it job. I bring the glue dot in and tuck it underneath, and there we've got it held securely in place. There, just like that. And okay, let's get this lined up. I want my just a note to be straight. And just like that, we've got it like that. Now, and did you notice something? Our little points match up too. No, there was a fluke. That worked very well. So the brass butterflies look beautiful with this, but I don't have them right now. I've used mine all up. So I was thinking we could use the rustic, what are they called? Rustic metallic adhesive backed, rustic. We'll just call them the metallic. Or we could use the festive jewels. Ooh, these match pretty nicely. I'm not even going to ask you. I'm actually going to make an executive decision and just go for it here with the festive jewels. Because I happen to like that a lot. So let's see. We'll put Here I go, traveling around my project with my embellishments again. They seem to show up better on the lighter ones. Oh, anyway, doesn't matter where they go. They just kind of finish it off. We've already done the inside like that, and that is our card. Now, here's one more thing that we can do. We can do this on the back. Did you know that according to Stampin' Up's angel policy, you can sell your cards or whatever as long as you include the Stampin' Up logo. Now, this is from a retired set, but there is a new set in the catalog that has the Stampin' Up logo. And who can tell me what the name of that set is? It's escaping me right now. Oops, I know. I want to do something else as well. I'm going to bring this in, bring our scrap paper back in. Oops, and drop it on the floor. Stamp that little splotch off, and we can go just like that and like that, and we've got the back done too. So there it is there. Does anybody know the name of that stamp set? I'll have to look it up. You like the color combo of the card? Thanks, Gail. I'm really liking it too, I have to admit. So let me just show you. I did that same card using some different designer paper. So I used the Daisy designer paper. I didn't elevate these, they're flat, but it's the same card, even right down to the stamping, the swooshing, there's ribbon, this here, it's all the same. So the angel policy said is stamped with love. Thank you, Gail. I knew I should know it, but I couldn't think of it. So thank you, thank you. So there it is in that, and this one has everything straight. So it really depends if you're a person who likes things straight or at an angle. And then I was playing around. I thought, well, what about the new in colors? So I made this with the copper clay new in colors, and this is the in color designer paper. I used the twine instead of the ribbon, and the in color dots there. So those are 3 versions, and they were all inspired by this one from the catalog here. So you can see how if you switched your words, you could easily make this a landscape card as well, right? So I am actually having more fun. This is what I played with all weekend, was this suite of products. So I have a few more cards to show you. So I showed you this one here, and I showed you this one here. Then when I went to an event called Creative Carnival, we made this one as one of the make and takes, and I love this one here. So you can see that I've been having some fun with this set, and I am working on actually a class with this. So be watching. I'll be releasing the class within the next few days. I'm just doing some finishing touches on it, but I think it's one that you might like, or you just might like to play with it yourself. I think this set was a bit of a sleeper to begin with, and it is a gorgeous bundle of products or suite of products, and you can see more and more people using it all the time. Now, just before I say goodbye, I have a few show and tell items. So although I haven't been doing a lot of stamping, I've received a few things that I would love to share. So this is from Karen Yeomans, and I just love how this came together, and it's on that new brick. Because I haven't been playing with my stuff much, I really don't know the names very well yet, but it's a gorgeous embossing folder. Then this is a stamp set that's been on my wish list, and I received this card from Marilyn. Whoops, those are forgot to tuck that further in. There we go. So there's a stamp set and die in the catalog, and the die even makes a paper trimmer. It makes scissors. Can you imagine any sewer in your life, how much that would? This sentiment is great. So I absolutely love this card, but I also love this bundle. It's also on my wish list. So we got that. Then I was talking about the Creative Carnival, and when we went, whoever we signed up with, look at how they did the ribbon there. We each got a little treat from them. So it's the 6x6 paper folded this way, and on one side there's some treats, and the other side a little note card. And of course this was made with the Zany Zoo. That was Karen Duke's creation. You've seen me share this one. This also we made. I didn't think this is another. I didn't think I needed a Mossy folder, and after I used this, I just fell in love with it. So that's also on my list. And then this is the Les Shop, I think, bundle here, where you can build your own little scene. This one is from Lorna Rasniski. Yeah, that's it. I need to say it better. But here, just like this, I really love this design as well. And Sherry Roth shared this. She used a note card, the note cards and envelopes, and did that like that. Then Donna shared this card and had us make this card. Can you tell this was a really fun event? And Karen Duke was sharing Zany Zoo. So this was this one here. So it opens a bit like a book. It's got layers. And then, oh, who was this? Trisha Shalo with the Good Things Who Come to the Fishing Suite, just like that. So I did the few days I was home. I went to this Creative Carnival, had some great fun, and then I came back and started playing with the inked and tiled. So hope you enjoyed that. Remember, wait until July 6th. It's only a couple more sleeps before you go shopping, so you can get those bonus coupons. You can always shop on my website, and if your order's under $200, I'd love if you use the hostess code right there. So thanks for joining me tonight. I went a little longer. I had so many things to share with you. Be sure to check online exclusives also on Thursday, and thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.